Hello, this is Victor at restoringmercedes.com. This video is for Demetrios in New York. Demetrios, this is your pump, and I can see that this pump it's a used pump. It has these marks here. That's just something that you do not see on original pump. Also marks here. So yeah, so used pump, I guess it failed. And the motor, that was new. The motor itself, right? But there were many issues with the motor. It wasn't put in right, and the vanes, they were like, took me a while to put the relation. The vanes, when you take them out, they pretty much made it. So once they all moved around, and well, anyway, I corrected everything. And also a small little retainer that holds the actual impeller, one tip broke off. It was broken actually. Once I pulled it, it was just cracked already. I saw it, but it was there. When I pulled it, it just fell apart. So I put a replacement one. That is also a rare part because, you know, I sourced them from used pumps, and I think that was the last one I had. Another thing is, the pump came in a small box, and this piece was broken off. You see a little piece right here. Now, these are important. These gray holders, they supposed to be there because pipes go in them, and pipes sit in these openings here, and they're secured by these little clips. And then the whole manifold goes on, and the whole manifold holds all these pipes down together. Now, excuse me, worst comes to worst, actually, I glued it. I'm gonna wait for the glue to set, obviously, and see if it holds. Right now it's been glued for a few hours and it seems like it's holding fine, but worst comes to worst, I just don't have any of these. I have another piece I found in my parts bin, but this one also has a crack. You see, somebody who tried to remove it, I guess this thing cracked here, so I glued it too. Just let it be. It's always good to have. See, glue is already setting, it's drying up. But anyway, worst comes to worst, you can put this piece back down, put pipes in it, right? You insert your yellow pipes in them, and then you can run a zip tie across, just like all around. It's like a long zip tie or two double zip tie, what have you, just to hold it down, and it'll work just fine, no problems there. The reason why I actually even started to glue my piece, I started to look for replacement pieces, because when I opened the box and I pulled the pump out, I didn't see a broken section. So then I looked again and I found this little broken section laying on the bottom of the box. So I was like, okay, so let me glue this. Once it's glued, we'll see if it holds. Okay, mine is like I said, it's not broken, it just cracked, but it cracked halfway, so the base is still there. So this is where the clip goes, and that's how it secures to the case on the pump. Okay, so the motor vanes holder, impeller holder, soldering, new wires, new hose, pressure vacuum disconnected, vacuum was leaking, so shut down, and now we're left with just the operation of the pump the way it should be operated. Again, I'm doing the test with pressure and vacuum on low voltage. This is battery voltage. It's not not the engine running voltage. It's 12.5, about 12.3, like a, let's say, weak battery. Let's say the car's set for like 2 weeks or 3 weeks. This is where I like to check it, because obviously you want to have car unlocked after it sits, so we need to do the test on the lowest voltage possible for pump to work. Now, the setup, I have two actuators here. These are just for demonstrational purposes. Also, I can see how hard and I mean how strong and how strong they're being activated. So if the pressure is set right, then it's actually very powerful, these pieces. So they're powerful to lock doors going this way, and unlock doors going this way. Now, the gauge is connected to the trunk, and one is blocked off. This is fuel filler cap, I don't need that. But this is just the most accurate readings on overall pressure on the pump. So let's just activate this and we'll look at the pressure and vacuum. So the vacuum hit about 0.7, pressure hit about 0.6. This is great. If there is a delay, the reason for a delay is that these are switching circuits, First, door locks activate, second, trunk and fuel filler cap activate. I already checked out how strong the activation is for these things. See how, you know, how they move, because once they're not active, obviously they move easy, but they're actually quite strong. As you can see, this one is delayed as well. See, it just released. Once it releases, I can move them around. But pressure vacuum is solid. We're absolutely fine with that. As you can see that. Okay, now next thing we're going to do is the handle for the trunk handle, the one that extends in and out. The what do we have? A trunk handle SFG. Let's just show you the trunk handle. It's pressure and vacuum. Pressure to push handle outwards, 0.5 bars, which is great, and 0.7 to pull handle back in. That's also perfect. I would like to have lower pressure than higher pressure because less stress on actuators. That's the handle. I can jump up the voltage a bit. And then we're gonna go and look again. Say it hits 0.6 and 0.8. That is the reason why I do the voltage low, because I wanted to have pretty much minimal voltage I can get, like 12 volts for example. That just shows overall health of the pump, 0.5 and 0.8. Given that the pump was taken away, I didn't take it apart, so it was already taken apart before. So I just did my best to put it together so it does work, because in many cases you put it together, that's it, it's just scored, and this one survived, which is great. Now the other circuit we have to deal with, let's see if I can demonstrate it without blocking the last port. This is the trunk release and headrests. If you have just how do you call it, the headrests that are vacuum driven, we have to actually do the vacuum. Okay, I'll get to that in a minute. The trunk release, let's do trunk release. That is trunk release. As you can see, pressure. Now also, when trunk releases, this actuator, this is the trunk lock, okay? So this one also activates. Trunk release, trunk release. As you can see, that is the trunk release, because trunk has to unlock first and then it releases. So last thing we're going to do is we're going to do a rear headrest manual activation, drop down function. For that I have to put on the ignition, because you have to have ignition on to have headrests to drop down. So let's do that. That's vacuum. As you can see, if I shut down the ignition, they do not activate. As you can see it. The reason being is because headrests, they only go down when car is running or ignition is on. So that will do. Vacuum is very strong. And again, trunk release is the same circuit. Let's just wait for switch over. I guess I don't have to really wait for switch over, because I have my ignition on, so now I have pressure in the circuit. Let me just do the ignition off, and I have to push this. Come on. It's unlocked. Okay, locked. Now trunk release again. So this is how it works. See this, it's still under pressure. This is basically proper operation. And pressure is released, off I can move the actuator. This is normal procedure. that's the way it is, because again, this is a switchover. This can go either direction. Vacuum pressure, headrest, and trunk release, they're different. So this is where we are. So basically the pump is operational. I got it done and it's ready to go back to you. I'll wait for this to glue, and it's pretty much set already. I didn't put much glue on it, but let's just try it actually while I have this video rolling. Let's see, one second. Let's clean this up a little bit, not critical, but as this pump has dust on it, so it seems like a used pump either has been sitting somewhere, but or maybe it was sitting at the salvage yard for a while. I don't know. Well, it's just the way it came, so double check on these. These are not, it's never been touched. That's good. A little air. Okay. And let's try our holder. Basically, it just needs to snap on. It did snap on. It held. This one holds. That's what's important, with this one to hold. Like I said, worst comes to worst, once you put your hoses in, it's gonna stay, but you don't want it to break loose. So if anything, once the hoses are inserted, you can actually run your zip tie like from here somewhere, like right in this area, go across like this, around here, down. That way it's going to be secured in between these two, and it will be secured in between hoses. Hoses will stay. This is one of the hoses, for example. So the hoses obviously will stay up like this. So if zip tie passes in between the two, it will not shift. That's the idea, and it's gonna fit just fine. It's gonna go over, no problems. But hoses to be installed first. Okay, I'm pretty much finished with it, testing wise, and right now I'm just gonna put it back together, and off it will be ready to go back to you. See, there's like dust on this pump. I don't know why. I rarely see that. Usually all of these pumps, they come clean, but again, this is not significant by any means. There's a new pipe, new wires, the motor setup. I actually can touch the motor even though I ran it for a while. I put zip ties just for good measure. I replaced the hose anyway. So yeah, this is good, and it's not even hot. So the motor is set properly. I ran it for a while, so I gave it a good workout, and this is still really nice. Not hot at all, because you put it wrongly, then it overheats, and then you score your pump surfaces, and that's bad news. Okay, so this is it. Pump is ready. This is all. This is Victor at RestoreMercedes.com. Thank you for watching.